Wow, you're still here. Okay, you must really like coding. I bet a lot of people are like, that's too much work. I'm out, but you are still in it to win it. Congratulations. Okay, so here's the deal. Sometimes when we code, we do things that are really big and splashy. If you notice, I put my track back. I redrew that. I saved it this time. Um, Sometimes you do things that for a person playing the game, they wouldn't necessarily notice that you did it, but if you took away your code that you added, they would feel it, and they would be like, "Oh yeah, it's there's." If anything else, when you learn how to code games, when you go home and play games online or whatever, you'll have a better appreciation for like when things don't work. You'd be like, "Yeah, it's pretty hard to make a video game. Like it's not simple." So before you learn how to do this, you're just like, "Why does this stupid thing work? Why is this game so terrible?" But yeah, once you learn, you have a new appreciation. So we're going to add a feature in here that on the surface doesn't seem like a big deal, but it's actually a huge deal because games need rules. We talked earlier about how our game right now, the user can kind of just do whatever they want, which is fine up until a point, but it doesn't add a lot to the fun factor. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, hey, this car speed thing is kind of a flaw. When you press the green flag, we added this code to where the user can press the up arrow to go faster and the down arrow to go slower or even backwards. But if you notice, like the car could theoretically go almost any speed. Like I can just mash down this up arrow and just get to ridiculous to the point where like it's not even fun because you can't control it. See, it's too fast. So we need to come up with some kind of rule to where the user can't go infinity miles per hour. So we're going to do that. We're going to come up with a condition. So we call it a condition. A condition, no, not the stuff you rub in your hair after you shampoo. That's conditioner. A condition in programming is where we say, hey, you can do this, but only if some rule is happening, right? So we're going to do it right now. Right now, we just tell Scratch, hey, if the up arrow is pressed, go up by 1. Down arrow pressed, go down by 1. Let's add a condition. Over here in the kind of burnt orange control, the one with all the dinosaur mouths, we're going to add a condition. And the condition we're going to add is this one. If, okay, that little shape, then dinosaur mouth. All right, you have to be very careful. Pick this one. Not if, then, else. That's not what we want. We want if something happens, then do something else. So what we're going to do, another one of those moments where some of you are going to put this in the wrong place and they go, my game doesn't work. You have to do it exactly like I'm doing it. I'm going to drag this. Let's start with the up arrow. We're going to say, see how the dinosaur mouth is trying to change car speed by +1 by 1? I want it to go right there. Okay? Has to go right exactly. If it looks like this, that's not going to work. If it looks like this, that's not going to work. The dinosaur mouth has to go right below when up arrow key is pressed, and then change car speed by 1 has to go inside Mr. Dino's mouth. All right. Now, if we play our game, it's going to still do the same thing. Up arrow is just going to, oh, maybe not. Oh, Mr. Haney, you're a fool. You don't know what you're talking about. Okay, well, I figured it would still work anyway. So we need to tell Scratch, hey, I want you to look at something. And we're going to go in. This is some real big brain math time. Over here, there's this thing, it's green, called operators. This looks like a lot of math. Plus, minus, that is actually a multiplication symbol. A slash in programming is usually a division symbol. Okay, I see some great. Okay, we're going to need to borrow one of these symbols here. We're going to have to pick very carefully. We're going to pick this one right here. So it's this one that has a little caret. If you're really good at your math, you know that this one right here is the less than symbol. It'd be like, hey, 1 is less than 50. Like, that's true. 40 is less than 50, right? True. Okay. We're going to drag this over, and we're going to put it right where I guess the dinosaur's eyeball would go. If, and then says something is less than 50, then now here's what we're going to do. We're going to go. Our code is starting to get complicated, isn't it? I'm going to pause just for a second. Sorry if you're like, I know, just let me go to the next thing. I just want to make sure people aren't lost here. This is what our code looked like before we added all this stuff, right? Now we're adding this condition. saying, hey, if this happens, then change the car speed by +1. And we're going to add this little, operator right here. We're going to say, well, we're going to go down here to variables. And we're going to pick car speed, the little pill. I know we put one up here. We're going to put another one right here. What we're going to tell Scratch to do is we're going to say, hey, Scratch, whenever the player presses that up arrow, I want you to check something. Let's set a speed limit for our game. Let's say if the car speed is less than, let's pick a nice round number, 10. If it's less than 10, then you can go ahead and change the car speed by 1. But if the car speed is greater than 10 or exactly 10, you're not doing this. Now let's test this. Because if this works, I think it will, then our player, if they start at 3, they should be able to press that up arrow and go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then it shouldn't let them do it anymore because we set a speed limit. We told Scratch, if it's bigger than 10, you're not making it go any faster. Let's test it. Okay, 3, 4, 6, 9, 10. Oh, look at that. Okay, I'm mashing the up arrow. You can tell I am because, look, you can see the little thing lighting up, right? It's like, oh, he's pressing the up arrow. But Scratch says, nope. Your number is 10. I can't make it because if it gets bigger than 10, the Scratch is going to go, sorry. And Mr. Rainey or whoever is coding me said, no, you only make the car speed go higher if that car speed is less than 10. So now we just set a speed limit in our game. Now, we could change the speed limit. We could make the speed limit, if we want to be really mean, we could be like, your speed limit is 5. Sorry, my friend, you are not driving fast today. I restart the game. So there's 3. Okay, I restarted the game, 4, 5. See, now it's stuck at 5. So we could set the speed limit. I mean, later on, we'll talk about hacks. Now, if you notice our backwards, we can still go like negative infinity on that, right? So we need to do the same thing. We need to set a speed limit for that one. So let's just, so it's going to look almost exactly the same with one big difference. We're going to get one of those operators. That's the if-then. We're going to slide the dinosaur mouth so it goes underneath the when down arrow key is pressed, and we're going to make it eat the change car speed by -1. We're going to need another operator. This time, because when we go backwards, we're getting a smaller number, right? So we're going to think, okay, we want the car speed. Let's say, in a car, if you are old enough to drive a car, you'll figure out when you go backwards, you don't go, you put the car in reverse, you can't go 70 miles an hour backwards. A car goes slower going backwards than it does going forward. So I think that we should set the speed. And it's your game, you can do whatever you want. I'm going to say that, you know what? If the speed limit, let's think this through. If the car speed, so we're going to get one more car speed. If the car speed is greater, let's say -3, a -3, then you can do that. Look at that. Now we have a speed limit forwards and backwards. It's rainy. What if I had my best friend play this game and they were really smart and they saw the code over here and they changed it? What if like I gave this game to my best friend and he clicked over here and he was like, hey, I'm going to change this to 50 because I want to go real fast. You know what that is? That's hacking. When you play whatever game you play at home, Fortnite or whatever, and there's people hacking, there's people cheating on there, that's basically what they're doing. They're going into the code that's in the game and they're changing things. They're like, hey, for normal people, this is what they see, and this is what they're like, I can't go any faster. Hackers say, oh, let's take a look at the code. Ooh, see, I see where you set that speed limit. Guess what? I'm a hacker. I'm changing that to 15. Now I can do whatever I want in your game. I can change all these things if I want. That's hacking. And now that you're learning how to code, you might be like, well, can I hack my video games? Well, maybe. You got a long way to go to learn how to do that, but that's the basic gist, right? Now, that's kind of cool, right? Okay, so we've added some more features, so I want you to be thinking about what else does our game need, right? Maybe we need some sound effects. Maybe, one thing that's kind of silly about this game is, if you notice, if you drew your track like mine, doesn't really matter whether you're on the track or not, right? Like you drive in the grass, you go just as fast. Maybe we can do something about that. All right, make sure your code is working perfectly before you go to the next video, okay?